Big Kahuna.
Josh, what's going on?
I got you here. I'm excited.
Yeah, well, it's been hectic, hasn't it?
It is. It has been.
My goodness.
Has been a little bit hectic, but you know what? I said to everybody at the end of the last episode it'd be probably a fortnight or even a month before they heard from us again, and here we are breaking or exceeding expectations.
That's right. Well, when did we do the last one? It was not on a normal day.
Yeah, no, it wasn't on it.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't uploaded on a normal day.
No.
But anyways, this is episode 16 of Dog Ugly Dudes Talking Dogs. It is part 2 in our Your Dog at Home series. I've got the man, the mind, the mystery, Big Kahuna here. He's going to tell us all about... Well, he's going to answer basically all those questions that we have,
or at least bring them up.
Bring up those questions. That's right.
So that people have them and they can ask themselves. Because I don't know how much of it we're going to actually be able to 100% give answers to straight away. That's for Big Kahuna's mailbag. Yeah. But
yes, which is also very important.
Really, one of the big things is actually thinking of these things before you get the dog. So which is bringing your dog at home. The last episode was about when you first get a dog there and how to use management tools and things like that.
Absolutely,
and that management mindset when you first have a dog, rather than thinking they're going to just be able to come into your environment and live there,
magically
no problem.
Live there without
right.
any hiccups.
That's right. So this will be bringing up a few more questions that people might not think of, and then they go, okay, that's now going to be a problem because I didn't think of it,
Okay, well, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Should we get stuck in?
Well, we should.
Well, we've got something a little bit new. First time we're going to do it. We've made a little intro for the Dog Ugly Dudes Talking Dogs
Another
podcast.
Different type of intro.
Yeah, but it's not just a song.
This is just Josh carrying on with his computer stuff. He just goes on and on. Puts it all together. So
anyways, here it is.
Good on you, buddy.
Oh, Josh, how you going?
Russians would never do that.
Why would they do that? It's not that like them. The rule with an iron fist.
I would far rather tame a tiger than push a turtle.
Yeah, I would be a blue vein cheese farmer.
Yeah.
Or make it. I don't think they farm blue vein cheese.
We've had heaps of dogs growing up.
Yeah.
But the just mutts and like weird dogs that mum and dad have picked up from like an Asian market. Like, hey, I brought home a dog. I'm like, we're not going to eat it, right? Yeah. No, we're keeping this one.
Alrighty, there it is.
Oh, man.
I've got plenty of them up my sleeve.
Yeah.
Because I've also got a lot of time to make these things.
I can just see you in here just giggling away to yourself as you do stuff.
Just doing shit, yeah. But anyways, like I said, episode 16, Dog Ugly Dudes Talking Dogs. We've got a goal today. We're going to try and keep it under 45 minutes. This is why it's sort of like speed dating in a way,
And that's why we don't know how detailed we're going to be able to get.
I'm excited to speed date you about dogs in the house.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, so tell me all about yourself.
Well, first things first, just to recap, if you didn't listen to the last episode, it was about doing, first bringing your dog home and all that. So this is an extension of that, and the next few episodes are also going to be continuing on this side of things. And we will get into a bit of how to train things, but a lot of it is going to be what to expect and what to think about when you are bringing your dog home. Then you can do a bit more research on how to deal with the problems that may occur.
Absolutely.
So this is something that I speak to all my clients about when they are first getting a dog, or if they've brought a rescue home or something like that, and they've brought me in pretty early on before problems start. So I like to get an idea of what their intentions are, what they want, and without, I'm not asking the questions to see, maybe, I don't think you should do that, or I don't think you should do this. I want to know what they want in their dog. So,
awesome.
So that includes things like, are they allowed on the couches? Are they allowed on the bed?
Yep.
Right? These are questions you have to ask yourself before you get the dog. Because once you have the dog and you've allowed them on the couch or on the bed, then you've set a precedent.
Yep.
Right? So if you want that, let's say you don't want your dog on the couch. Well, then from day one, it should never be on there.
Yeah.
Right? So that's an example of and you have to...
Not even to take the cute first Instagram photo.
Exactly. And this is the thing. This is what happens with puppies, especially, right? So people go, oh, look at how cute the puppy is, and they bring it up and put it on their lap and all that. Well, And then when the dog gets bigger, they go, oh, I don't want the dog on the couch.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then you should have thought of that when they were a puppy.
Yeah.
It's not, you're now confusing them, and you're going to have to tell them off for things that you shouldn't have had to do, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to take the Instagram photo, get on the floor with them and play with them that way. Or decide that you do want them on the couch, and then just leave it at that.
That's it.
And that's the end of it. Now, you can put that sort of stuff on cue and say, get off or get on when I want you to. And that's what a lot of my clients decide they want to do. Come up if I've asked you, but otherwise you're not allowed on.
Okay.
You know? So, but that again comes down to starting very early with it and not setting a precedent before you come up with the rule and then you create a problem that you have to fix.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
So that's one of the questions. Do you want them up on furniture? Okay, so think about that, and think about that with your bed as well. Like I'm so many trainers out there are going to be like, "What are you doing?" You know, I let my dog sleep on the bed with me.
Well, I was just talking to my good mate Ben. So Ben and his partner Kayla. The reason we did the Breed of the Week Giant Schnauzers was because of them.
Oh, yes.
But I was talking to him the other day, and we were just talking about his two dogs, Ari and Lloyd. And he's like, "Yeah, they both sleep on the bed." And I was like, "Yeah, that's cool. Like, I don't really.
Well, you
I
would
don't
not
have a problem
believe,
with it.
Okay, you would not
know?
believe how many clients I get that they're like,
Yeah, my dog.
my dog
Yeah,
sleeps on the
and
bed.
they sort of whisper it.
They're
to you.
like,
yeah,
"Oh, we've been bad parents. Our dog sleeps on the bed."
yeah.
I don't care if your dog sleeps on the bed.
I honestly don't.
And then I'm like, my dog sleeps on the bed. They're like, "Oh, really? Oh, I've heard so many trainers say you shouldn't have him on the bed because you're going to be they're going to be the alpha."
Nah,
like, what is wrong with you? You know,
there's a load of poop on a sandwich.
load of shit. But now that doesn't mean that it sometimes won't cause the dog. If you give your dog everything and don't give them any rules, they can start taking control of situations.
Yep.
Which then in that case I would say you need to take control back by not allowing them certain things.
Yeah, sort of rein it in a little bit.
That's right. And I would say, you know, maybe make them get off of the couches and off of the bed and all that, because then that's something that you can take control of.
Yep.
But not because they're now the alpha. It's not. That's not how that works. So, anyway, let's move on to the next one. So, do they need to be in a particular place when they come in the house?
Great question.
So this is something that many of my clients, they want their dogs in the house, but they don't want them roaming around, and they don't want, you know, that sort of stuff. I personally, I'm like, then why, right?
Yeah,
or get a crate,
or get a crate.
You know,
Yeah.
get a crate or something.
So
the dog doesn't have to think about it if that's the case.
You want an ornament with a heartbeat? Is that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's the thing that I'm not going to get that judgy with it, but
I want a furry statue.
But I think if you're going to have them in the house, they should be able to be in and around you, as long as they've got the right sort of manners. Now, in saying that, you know, having a command to go to a bed is, of course, a good thing for if you need to have them go and relax and settle down. But again, for me, I would rather have my dogs be relaxed in the house, and if I need them to be away from everybody, I'll put them in the crate.
Yeah.
Right? You know, that's where they go. Otherwise, they get to lay down on the floor. I don't care if that's where they lay, is on the floor.
Yep.
I don't think very many people's dogs should be running around playing like crazy in the house. That, to me, that's not a great option. But, you know, like running around all over the place and just jumping on everything, that's probably where I would say that's not a great option.
No.
I think they should be relaxed in the house anyway. So, again, that's up to every person. But having a bed or a place where they need to be, again, if that's what you want, you need to start that early. You know?
Yeah, real early.
You can't,
day one.
If that's all they're ever going to be allowed to do in the house, you know, you need to start doing that straight away. Or else then you have to rein in what you've allowed them to do for the first, you know, year of their lives, and they've learned all these bad manners, and it becomes a real problem.
Yep.
So thinking about that stuff that's really important. This is another one. This is a big one. So
hit me.
When you're eating, what's the rules when you're eating, right? So I'll give you an example. My dogs, again, as a trainer, this is a trainer speaking, I give my dogs stuff that, like, if I have scraps,
yeah,
right? But only if they're doing what I want them to do, right? And I don't ask them. There's no asking. Oh, lay down and I'll give you something, or sit and I'll give you something. None of that. That if they don't do it on their own, then they get nothing, and it just goes. The scraps will go in the bin. So, but if they go away from me and they lay down away from the table and they're not bothering me, that's when they'll get stuff. So that's a manners type thing for me. Like, so I sort of put manners and obedience in two separate categories. Manners to me is things that you don't ask them to do.
100%, man.
So and then obedience is things that you have to ask them to do. So if I don't want to have to ask them, then I teach them without asking them.
Yep.
Right. So without putting it on a cue. It is on a cue in some ways. Like, when I sit at the table, that's the cue to go lay down.
Space. Yeah.
Exactly. So that is a cue. But the point is, I don't want to have to sit down and say, lay down.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to do that. I want them to just do it.
Which is oftentimes exactly what happens. People are constantly, just in my experience, dinner time comes around, everybody's sitting at the dinner table, something delicious is on that table. Mm-hmm. And the dog's mulling around like a great white shark that smelled blood in the water.
That's right. And anything that falls on the ground, they're all over it. And, And the head of the table's always like, on your bed, like repetitively saying yes. And without hearing it, they don't do it.
No.
There's no chance. They're like, I need to come over there so you can tell me to get on my bed so that you can give me a treat when I'm on my bed,
Yeah, exactly.
And now I've gotten the treat, so now I need to go back over there so you can tell me to go back to my bed so that you can give me another treat.
Yeah.
Or so you can tell me to sit so then you can give me a treat. All that stuff. I don't want to deal with any of that. I want to be able to just sit in peace and eat my dinner. Yeah. And the dog just does something because they know that that's the best option for them to get something that they want.
Exactly. What I might employ is I might have a dog bed that's within throwing distance, like me throwing a chicken drumstick at that bed. So it's like dog only gets the chicken drumstick launcher, which is me throwing it when they're in the down position on the bed.
That's absolutely. And that actually
could be fun.
That actually makes a big if you use a bed for that sort of thing, it's much easier to train, because then what you can do is
it's like the platform.
That's right. And you put it right next to the table when you start.
Yep. And
then you slowly move it away from the table. And I do employ the toss method when I'm giving a treat.
The Kobe.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I do when I am giving a treat from the table. They're like, "Oh, excellent! He's tossed something this way." And if it doesn't go in their area where they're at, then it's not theirs. They don't get to have it.
You don't get it.
That's right. And then that way I don't have the dogs competing for it either. But that is a great way to do it, what you said with the bed, because then you start close and you move it further away, and then they end up on the other side of the room on their bed, and they're just as happy there as they were when they were right next to the table.
Because chances are, every time it's a 1-for-1 thing, and then you back it off, so it's like one every 2 times or one every 3, and eventually they don't. Well, I'm never going to get anything unless I'm actually
that's right
on this lovely bed.
Yep, that's exactly it. And I think the biggest part about this is the first time you give them something at the table from the table, now it's on. They know that they can get things from you at the table. So if they walk up to you and sit there and they're looking adorable, a little puppy or something like that, or even an adult dog, and they walk up to you and they sit there and they look at you, and then you give them something, you've now just started it.
Floodgates.
Floodgates are open. And then when you decide you want to stop doing that, if you don't teach them an alternative option, like getting on a bed, then it just gets worse, because then they start to like paw at you and bark at you and all those things. And these are all things that I run into.
And then oftentimes people will inadvertently reinforce those behaviors to stop them from doing that, and then the dogs continue to do it until they've got the wooden spoon out and they're smacking you across the face.
Yes, and
they're like, "Stop doing it! I'll give you this chicken drumstick."
Exactly. And you wouldn't believe how built up these behaviors can get.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's incredible. You'll be sitting there, and because when I go into a client, I'll be sitting there at their table usually, and I've got my treats with me, and I'll have them on the table. Mm-hmm. And I like to start that way because I want to get the dog to understand that there's rules, and yes, I have something here, but you have to work to get it. And you wouldn't believe some of the things that that the dogs will be doing. They'll grab onto your shorts and pull on them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because they know that that's going to get you the attention, them the attention, at least the attention, which might get them to you giving them something eventually. So they bug you. Now you ask them to do something, and then eventually you can give them the reward for it. This is exactly what I want to avoid. I don't want them to be trying to get me to ask them.
Yep.
This is one of those times that I don't want that. Lots of times I do want it, but this is one of those times I want them to just give up on what they were attempting, go lay down somewhere else, and then all of a sudden the treat shows up.
Yep.
It's that kind of a thing. So that's probably one of the biggest and most important questions to ask yourself is how that's going to go and what you're going to do in that situation.
Yeah.
And all of this stuff is completely outside of your normal regular training that you're going to be doing, like potty training and crate training and all that stuff. These are just questions and types of things you need to ask yourself when you're bringing a dog into your home.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that's probably the main basic ones that I would want to cover in this episode.
Maybe one thing that you could, because I feel that like there's a lot of contradiction when people. Okay, I'm not wording it properly. Last night I couldn't sleep. I was on Instagram, and you look at these little videos, and people like funny dog videos, and one of them was a Great Dane on the couch next to its owner, and the owner's eating out of a bowl with a spoon, and then the dog would paw him, and then he'd give it a little bit, and then he's like, no, go away, and then the dog eventually grabs both his hands with its paws, and tries to drag it. Like how you see dogs grab stuff and hug it, and then try and
yeah,
and then they just laugh at it, and then the dog gets the whole spoonful of whatever he's eating anyway. So it's like, well, now you've inadvertently reinforced that. Like the dog was on the couch, right next to you with an opportunity to get that. I know it's not like a massive thing, but people come to you and they're like, oh, now he's on the couch and he does it when other people are around here, and it's really embarrassing. And it's like, well, you got to figure out, yeah, it's funny, but is this going to be something that you're going to want to extinguish later on?
And that's the question that you really need to ask is this something that you're, and it's hard to know the answer to that because, an example would be, like in my own situation, I like it when Arrow paws at me to get me to pat him.
Yeah.
Because I think it's hilarious.
Yeah,
and I think it's cute.
Yeah.
And he's so big and he's so intense and everything, and then he comes up to you and nudges into you with his nose and then paws at you for and then lays down for a belly rub.
Yeah.
So he's like it's so counter to what he is otherwise, and so I like that, and I want to keep it.
Yep.
But do I want him to do that to other people? Probably not. But what I would do in that situation is if there's other people around that I think might be a problem, then I would manage the situation. So this goes back to management things. If I think that's going to be a problem, then he goes outside or in his crate when when someone's there. So these are, and another one is I want him to jump up on me when he greets me. I like that. I want him to jump up and we cuddle while I'm standing. Yeah. So I don't want him doing that to other people, and he doesn't really do it to other people. But the point is, if I think he might.
Yeah,
and I don't
manage the situation.
Then I manage the situation around that, because those are the things that I want. And if I don't think that that's going to go well with what other people want, then I just keep them away from him.
Yep.
So, with this one with the Great Dane, this is what it ends up being. They do that, and then they also. This is this have your cake and eat it too. Then they also want the dog to sit there nicely and away from people when they have. Other than them, when they have a bowl of food and they're on the couch,
which isn't going to happen.
It's just not going to happen. We try and teach our dogs to generalize the commands that we're doing. So we teach them to sit in lots of different places so that they do it everywhere. And if someone else asks them to do it, then they do it. And all this, we specifically try to train them to do that. And then when they finally do it on their own, we're gonna say, oh, we don't want that, because they've happened to generalize that to two people,
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, seriously, come on, it just goes against everything that you're doing, oh, why would I only want them to do that with me? Well, then you have to specifically train them not to do it with other people. And if you don't, you can't just say, oh, don't do that, because they know that that's the rules. That's what you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of it, I just thought of this as well. Everybody in the household that's living there with the dog has to be on the same page and giving the dog the same set of rules. Like, the kids can't be doing one thing and then you're doing another. The dog will understand contextually that it can get away with things from one person, but maybe not from you. But there's a good chance that that when it gets success inadvertently from people that aren't applying the same rules that you want to be applied to the dog, that there's a carryover effect for most other things later on. What are your thoughts on that?
Definitely. I run into this a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. So this is the partner won't want to do something the way that the other one is, or something like that.
Yep.
I ran into this the other day with a client who really, their dog has some real issues on the lead and probably needs a remote collar.
Mm-hmm.
But the partner won't use it.
Okay.
So we'll continue to take the dog for walks
without it
and escalate those problems with him. And then when she takes the dog, she's going to be doing all the right things and stopping the behavior, but the dog is getting two completely conflicting things. And then with the next person and the next person.
Yeah, so what then happens if they both take the dog for a walk?
Exactly. Then the dog is completely conflicted.
Yeah.
Right? So if they're both there, the dog's going to think, oh, well, he's here, I can pull, or she's here, I can't pull. What do I do?
So it's the lady that is using the remote collar?
Yes, she's the one.
Wow.
Yes, she's the one.
Welcome to 2019.
I know.
And he doesn't want to use it?
No, totally
good on her.
Not interested.
So she's dedicated to the training.
Well, yes, and it's been like it's a situation that's obviously caused some problems in the
bit
past.
Of friction.
Yeah. I don't know about between them or not, but
no, the dog and
they have a real hard time taking the dog out. That's
Mm-hmm.
where it's at.
Yep.
So it does require something else, and they've tried a lot of things.
Yep.
They've tried the different types of methods that the positive type methods based on how the partner is about the situation and that sort of stuff. So
that's fair enough.
But this is again two people in the same household that live with the same dogs that have completely different opinions about how to train it. Right? The same, so they're trying to fix a problem, and two people have totally different ideas about how they're going to fix it. How is that possibly going to translate to, if you can't even figure out how you're going to train it? If the two humans in the household can't even figure that out, then how is the dog supposed to figure it out?
Can't.
They can't.
Yeah.
Everybody has to be on board and understand what is going on and how it's going to work. And as long as that's the case, then no problem. Yeah. And I had another one yesterday, a new one that I went to that was a dog that I was telling you about the resource guarding. And as I left the session, I was explaining how to practice it. And then she was asking me if anybody else could practice it as well, and I said, you can, but it must be this way.
Yep, it can't be any other way.
It can't be any other way. Yeah. And so anybody who's going to do it, you or I have to show them exactly how, and don't stray from that plan, because if you do the wrong thing there and they're not prepared for it, then you've made it much, much worse,
Exactly.
So
you had the ship on the right trajectory for Treasure Island.
Yes.
But then somebody else has come and turned the giant wheel of that ship, and now you're heading into pirate-infested waters.
That's right. That's exactly. It's funny how we both went to pirates in our head. But that's how it goes, and it happens all the time. I try my best to get, when I go to private consults, to get families together, and when the kids are doing something that is not going to work, I just explain to the parents, see that and that's what this is going to cause. So if you can get them to do these things, then
I've been there for it, man. Remember that there was a German Shepherd, I can't remember, but we went to that playground.
Yes,
and the whole family, because we took the dog for a walk.
Yes,
we went to that playground, and then we were doing recall training and stuff like that, and then we ended up walking home, and yeah, I remember you telling the parents that these things that are happening because of child X, Y, or Z.
Yes, that's right.
It's not conducive to creating a learning environment for the dog that they can understand and benefit from. So.
And obviously the idea is to create the best learning environment so that we can then, make the learning as fast and as simple as possible for the dog.
Yep.
Otherwise, it takes a long time. There's frustration that comes into play, and the dog starts to do the wrong thing, and then you start correcting for things that never needed to be corrected.
Yep.
Sometimes a correction is only being used because we're trying to fix a problem that can't be fixed any other way now, but it was created by the people that were teaching the dog. Almost always that's you're correcting things that are a problem because they were trained essentially, inadvertently.
Awesome. You got any more on that, mate?
No, I don't want to dive too deep into that stuff because it'll take forever. But
I just want to say that we're doing all right for time. I haven't sworn once yet, so I get a little applause. Oh, bit loud. Wow. And do you know what I might be attributing this to? Han and I haven't had a drink since the 26th of January, so I'll get another little applause there. That's right.
Wow.
I can just see your face and you're like, I don't care.
I'm looking at you like, I can't believe you.
I know, man.
Because you did say
know
you were
what
on your
I'm
way
like.
to Dan Murphy's the other day.
Yeah, I know. But that was because I was alone and I was bored. But I didn't go.
You didn't actually go?
I didn't go.
Oh, you good man. You good man.
I don't feel as much like a caged dragon being prodded by a stick anymore. I don't know if people can tell, if you're listening out there and you can tell that I've been off booze for a fortnight.
Well, they would be able to tell if they had listened to that first one. Holy shit, that was bad.
Oh my God.
And that was because you were just in like angry mode.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't had a drink in 2 minutes.
I was Metallica's Saint Anger turned up to 11.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
It was hardcore.
It was pretty crazy.
Anyway, so what are we doing? We're going on to...
Well, we don't have Big
else?
Kahuna's mailbag because nobody's bothered to... I did have actually some people earlier in the week ask if they could call up and ask questions, and I was like, I don't know how that's going to go because we don't know when we're going to be recording it, and then...
Yeah, that becomes the
problem.
But
I do like the idea of people calling up.
I know, but we're not on the radio. Like,
yeah.
This is a podcast.
This is a podcast. Podcast. That's how you say it.
Is it?
Yeah. It's a podcast.
How do you say it?
Podcast, Dingo.
Oh, a podcast.
But, so we don't have Big Kahuna's mailbag. We're doing all right for time. We want to try and get this under 45 minutes. So I think we should just jump straight into Breed of the Week.
I don't know what breed that it could be. Maybe a whippet or a small Bichon Frise. But if you stick around, you will see. 'Cause it's time for Breed of the Week. I don't know what breed that it could be. Maybe a Labrador or a BSMG. But if you stick around, you will see. 'Cause it's time for Breed of the Week.
So happy for you that you've got your soundboard back and in operation, and we even added a sound bite to it today, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
So I'm delivering all my promises to you.
I do appreciate it,
and I think you should be appreciative.
I was very upset when I
know
didn't
you
get
were very upset. Oh. Anyways, Breed of the Week today, for this week, for episode 16, is what is known as the Shallow-It's Quintley. Is that how you say it?
I think so. Shallow-It's Quintley.
Shallow-It's Quintley.
This was sent to me. This breed was sent to me.
Who sent you this one?
A lovely young lady named Marielle.
Yes, Marielle. Yes. Yep, cool.
Who has some pretty cool dogs. And she was showing me this one and saying how cool they are, and that there's only a few breeders in Australia, and that. So,
yeah.
Shout out to her.
As you know, Melissa, who is Paul's wife, she works for Quarantine, I think, and so she's bringing she's checking all the dogs that come into the country. And a few months ago, before Christmas, she was talking to me about one of these dogs that someone had bought and imported. And she said it was a really nice dog.
Really?
Yeah, really nice dog. I was like, what are you talking about? And then I realised, because I watched Coco.
Can I press this soundbite?
Yeah. What do you got?
Never mind. I don't have it.
What was it, though?
The Coco dog one.
Oh, yeah, I didn't.
You
Yeah.
didn't give it to me.
But, so...
No!
Shout out to Disney. Give me free stuff. But yeah, so this is the dog, the Mexican hairless, it's also known as. And it's in
That's
movie,
what everybody's going to remember.
Mexican hairless.
Yeah, because when you even just say the name Xoloitzcuintli.
Xoloitzcuintli, it's spelled Xoloitzcuintli, and there's an I in the middle of there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
That's what I was looking for. Oh,
If you got really mad at it, you could say that that's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, God, you're such a Xoloitzcuintli.
I don't really know much about their demeanor. I'm
about to tell you
really
because
interested to hear about this.
Nancy Hajewski's Every Dog, which we have referenced before, this is what I call the dog Bible.
Oh,
if
it's
you
so
can find,
good.
it's pretty good. It's got a book of over 450 dog breeds in it, and so here it is under Sighthounds and Pariahs. It's right next to the Thai Ridgeback, which also looks pretty interesting.
Oh, yes, those are cool.
Yeah, they're
really cool.
I've never met one, but
Yeah.
you have.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'll read you a little bit about this, and then we've got something from the internet as well, a little brief history about them. So we're going to get two sources. I can't really comment too much on this breed of dog because I've never met one.
No, we're learning with you guys. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're related to the Chinese crested in a lot of ways.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Oh.
but they look a lot nicer than the Chinese crested.
They actually look fantastic.
Yeah.
I was worried when Marielle was sending this to me because I was like, oh, Mexican hairless, that doesn't sound great at all in any way.
I think some of them do have like a little bit of hair. They're not completely hairless.
There
though.
is a haired coat
Is there?
version.
Like a really
I guess, I don't
balding
know. Yeah.
late 40s man. Anyways, here we go. The virtually hairless Xolo comes in three sizes: small, medium, and large, and in a coated form. Coated form.
There you go, in the coated form.
All these varieties can appear in the same litter. Hairlessness in this breed is a dominant genetic mutation, but the hairless Xolo does have some fluff on the top of the head. I'd shave it. I'd shave that
for
fluff.
sure.
The tip of the tail and the toes, Xolos should exhibit a primitive temperament. Intelligence, sensitivity, curiosity, high energy, and strong hunting and social instincts, and they are not emotionally mature until 2 years old. Well, that's what this said. That's what Nancy Hajewski says. We've got a little red cross here, which means something. It says, the delicate skinned Xolo needs protection from the sun and from extremely cold weather.
So they're only good.
Captain Obvious.
They're only good in a few places in the world.
They're only really...
How is that good in Mexico?
Don't know, man. There's a lot of sun there.
A lot of sun.
Lots. They have siestas.
Yeah.
Because it's so hot and there's lots of sun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, the two breeds... the breed's name comes from two Nahuatl words meaning God and dog.
God dog.
Yeah. Which is weird because God spelt backwards is dog.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe this
Can you go that wow, 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 wow?
Wow, 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 wow!
Mind blown. All right, let's refer to an internet article.
All right, referring.
Why'd you need Canadian stripper music for that? Anyway, here we go. The amazing story behind Mexico's ancient dog breed. One of the most rare and unique dog breeds in the world, the Xoloitzcuintli, or Xolo for short, has been around for a very long time. Also known as the Mexican hairless dog, these usually bald ancient beauties are revered for their calm and loyal disposition. Despite their long history and reputation, Xolos remain quite rare in the US, so you may not have met one in real life. Read on to get to know one. Yeah, okay. What's in a name?
That's like if you had a prompter in front of you and
Yeah,
someone
yeah.
just put whatever on there. Just indiscriminately reading.
like Ron Burgundy when he tells San Diego to go and F itself. The word Xoloitzcuintli combines Xolotl, the Aztec god of the underworld. I don't know if that's actually... It's Xolotl. The Aztec god of the underworld with Itzcuintli, the Aztec word for dog. So god dog.
Mm-hmm.
The breed's name is tricky to spell and even more challenging to pronounce, but don't worry, you can just call them Xolo. In English-speaking countries, Xolos are more commonly known as Mexican hairless dogs. However, because hairlessness is a recessive trait... Hang on. So, this article says that the hairlessness is a recessive trait. In the dog Bible, it says it's a
dominant gene.
Dominant genetic mutation. So you guys can fight to the death. This is rover.com. So
well, I don't know if those are those two different things. I don't really know.
I don't know. Rover.com. Well, recessive and dominant, absolutely.
So what's the difference?
Well, dominant means so more than likely.
Dominant genetic mutation.
So recessive means that it's... Well, it doesn't mean it's the lesser bit. I don't know the proper scientific term for it. But I do know from my biology days.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know? You remember biology when you're like big B, small b? So
we never did that.
You didn't? I could explain it to you in a diagram, but then other people won't benefit from it. Anyways, Nancy Hajeski and Rover.com, you guys battle to the death. Tell me who wins. I hope it's you, Nancy.
Yeah, me too.
About 1 in 5 Xolos will be born with a coat of fur. Well, that doesn't make sense then. Anyways, never mind. Coated Xolos might not appear to be as remarkable, but they're just as intelligent, loyal, and lovable as their bald counterparts. Beauty and brains. In the 1500s, explorer Francisco Hernandez, that's a good name.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Described the Xoloitzcuintli in his journals. A dog of medium size, rather heavily built, and long-bodied in proportion to its height, ears large and erect, tail thick, drooping or carried nearly straight behind, hair nearly absent except for a few coarse vibrissae, I don't know how you say it, vibrissae, and generally a sparse coating on the tail, particularly near the tip, sometimes a tuft on the crown. Over 500 years later, Xolos can be described in almost the exact same way. Sleek-bodied, almond-shaped eyes, bat-like ears, and a long, elegant neck. But not every modern Xolo is of medium size. There are now three classes of the dog, ranging in weight from 10 to 50 pounds, being standard, miniature, and toy.
Mm.
Whatever size...
so there's like... They've
ruined it.
Yeah.
Whatever size Xolo you meet, you'll find them to be alert, calm, and loyal.
Look at that. Look at this. That's pretty cool.
That's a good looking dog. It looks like a Mal without hair.
Yeah, it actually really
It
does.
does look like a Malinois without hair.
Yeah, they're stunning.
Anyways, Xolo origins. We're doing okay for time. The American Kennel Club calls the Xoloitzcuintli the first dog of the Americas because it was one of the earliest dogs to be domesticated by human populations and has existed in Mexico for more than 3,000 years. According to the Xoloitzcuintli Club of America, archaeologists have discovered clay and ceramic statues of dogs nearly identical to the current-day Xolo in tombs of the Mayan, Colima, and Aztec Indians. These ancient tribes revered the dogs for their supposed healing qualities and snuggled up with them at night for warmth. An artistic legacy. Around the same time Xolos showed up in human civilizations, they started to appear in human art. The sculpture and paintings of early South American cultures include representations of dogs that look an awful lot like modern-day Xolos. Because the dogs were celebrated for their healing properties in connection to the spirit world, they're represented in a lot of sacred art, such as burial icons and representations of the gods. That one's butt ugly. Look at him.
Ooh,
that's a demon.
That's not good.
That's an evil spirit. Xolos are also part of 20th century art history, having appeared in the life and works of famed artists Diego Rivera and Frida Kahlo. Rivera and Kahlo, who are famed for their respective artwork as well as their long, tumultuous relationship, raised Xolos. Why do they have to add that in there?
That's just
ridiculous. We don't need to know that. Raised Xolos in their shared homes. Kahlo's work famously includes representations of her favourite dog, Senor Shototl.
So they sound like a really like family-friendly, cuddly dog that is also quite athletic and
if you can believe what Disney says, because that movie Coco, would have sold a lot of people on the breed.
So true.
Go and watch it if you haven't.
Yeah.
I just hope you're not prone to screen seizures or anything, because there's a lot of flashing lights and a shitload of color in that movie.
It's just super color movie.
My adult brain, I was like, oh, so you could imagine what it'd do for kids. They're like, yeah, start swinging the toast around by its cord. It's like, oh no, he's watching Coco again. Chasing the cat around with a leaf blower.
Very overstimulating.
Yeah. Maybe that's just what I would do. Anyways, legends and myths. According to Aztec legend, the Xolo came about when the god of death, Xolotl, created a dog from the bone of life. Xolotl gave the dog to man and instructed him to guard it with his life. In exchange, the dog would guide man through the underworld on the way to the heavens.
That's why he was in that.
Coco
the movie makes sense now.
Yeah, Coco the movie makes sense.
There's a historical significance to that movie.
Wow.
That's
I'm not going to ruin it, but if you haven't seen it, go and see it. Shout out to Disney Pixar. On the way to the heavens. With an origin story like that, it's easy to see why Xolos are celebrated as the national dog of Mexico. I don't know if you're supposed to say Xolo or Xolo. It's just my Australian drawl. In recent American mythology, Xolos have been connected to the chupacabra, which means goat sucker. That's exactly what it translates to. Look it up. The chupacabra, which is... people say a figure in Latin American folklore that preys on farm animals, namely goats. Because chupar means suck, cabra means goat.
Goat sucker.
Yeah, I did a little bit of Rosetta Stone Spanish. Chupacabras likely don't exist, or do they? But some urban legend enthusiasts believe their origins may lie in the unusual-looking hairless dog. The chupacabra legend is so pervasive that frightened farmers have mistaken Xolos for the mythological creature.
So they're saying that there's the goat sucker.
The goat sucker
is like a mythical thing, and then
but it could be this dog.
Yeah, and it's come from that dog used to kill goats or something.
Yeah, but they say that the chupacabra walks on its hind legs and shit like that. It's a bit weird. So some people say that. There's heaps of myths about it. When you can't sleep at night, that's one of the things that's one of the things to think about. So healers and protectors. In Aztec tradition, Xolos were viewed as guardians, warding off both intruders and evil spirits. They're also believed to have healing properties, and it's easy to see why. Without further hold in body heat, they radiate more warmth than other dogs, and are effective heating pads on cool nights. There you go.
Look at that.
There you have it. Here's this thing that says, "Are you a Xolo person?" With a little dog, and look at him there. He's pretty cute.
Yeah, I don't really like that fluff on the head.
No, neither do I.
Looks like a bit of a donkey.
I'd be shaving that.
Yeah.
Be like, get rid of it. All right. So, are you a Xolo person? With their distinct looks, watchful personality, and storied history, Xoloitzcuintlis Quintleys are truly special dogs, but are the right fit for your home. The ideal Xolo home will offer a calm environment without small children. Right. Though Xolos can be good family dogs, their protective nature means they're not the best fit for little kids.
Oh, that's surprising.
Yeah, that's surprising.
Because everything else...
Because Coco's a little kid.
Yeah. What are they doing?
You lied to me, Disney. Positive reinforcement based... yep.
Oh, God, here we go.
Occasional bathing and frequent moisturising to keep their hairless coat in good condition. Sunscreen in summer, they're prone to sunburn, and coats in winter.
Sunscreen.
So get your Pet Barn vouchers. Shout out to Pet Barn. If the Xolo sounds like a good fit.
No, who is putting sunscreen...
You're just going to lather a dog in sunscreen?
Every day?
Oh, nah.
No. That can't be good for their skin.
I'd just get him a harness that's got like a little umbrella attachment.
Yeah, and that when they get in the sun, it just pops
Yeah,
out.
it just pops out. It's a solar panel, like, reactive thing.
Now, see, there's
It's like,
I can't get around that can't be the case. That's never happening in Mexico.
Yeah.
Nobody is putting sunscreen on their Mexican hairless.
All right.
And they've lived there for ages.
I award this breed battle to the Dog Bible and Nancy Hajeski. Wow. It's our first ever breed battle.
Yeah. There's some really conflicting things there.
Yeah, there's like the whole dominant recessive thing, the fact that it can't be in the sunlight or it'll evaporate like a giant brocker. You know, it just doesn't make sense to me.
I'm going to see.
What are you going to see? Because we're
we're
not going to tell you.
No, it doesn't make any sense to me still.
Doesn't make any sense?
No.
What,
dominant
the whole...
recessive. Yeah.
I'll try and explain it to you later. You know, you are the engineer.
Well,
and I am the...
Somebody needs to try and send us some information about that.
Please.
Or
please do.
A good book on genetics.
That would be really good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. But, so that pretty much concludes episode 16 of Dog Ugly Dudes.
Yes.
Part 2 of our Your Dog at Home series. I think we got one more after this, Big Kahuna.
It's going to be more than that.
It is?
Yeah.
It is going to be more than that?
Yeah, it's going to be more than that.
Because you got a lot of stuff that you need to talk about, don't you?
We're talking about it in short stints as well.
Yeah, short little stints, because we're getting under that time period.
Yeah, it's hard to do
It's hard to do it.
I have to just stop my brain from moving forward. It's like I want to just keep talking about it, and then I have to stop.
Your mind's like a bulldozer.
Yeah, it's like
that it doesn't have a driver. The handbrake's off. It knows what it wants to do. It wants to doze.
Yes,
and not sleep. It's pushing the information forwards towards people.
Exactly.
Sometimes crushing people on the way.
That's my brain for you. Oh. Anyway,
and in the dozer, there's a old school boombox playing Highway to the Danger Zone, and just everywhere around that bulldozer, chaos, just chaos.
Just
people pushing each other out of the way. People trying to lasso it and hold onto it, but you can't because that dozer is just pushing forward. Highway to the danger zone.
That's so true, though. I can't stop myself. I leave my appointments about half an hour late every single time because I just can't stop myself from talking to people.
Yeah, but that's why you've got a big heart and you're a good man.
Wow, I appreciate that.
And that'll do us for episode 16 of Dog Ugly Dudes Talking Dogs.
Yes.
We didn't get under the 45, but we're mighty close.
Wow.
We're getting better.
Let's get off of it.
Let's get off of it. Anyways, if you've listened this far, we really appreciate it. If you listened at all, we also appreciate it. If you could drop us a like on our Instagram or whatever it is you got to do. Also on Facebook. If you've got any questions for Big Kahuna, because we need to get some questions out there, we'd love to hear what you're thinking. Send them in and I guarantee you we'll answer them. Even if it has something to do with rocket science and quantum physics, we will answer it. So if you could
opened up a can.
Leave us a review on iTunes or whatever platform you're listening to this on, and give us 5-star likes. And imagine yourself as a bulldozer with Highway to the Danger Zone playing.
All right.
I wish I had Highway to the Danger Zone playing right now. But if we did that, we couldn't use this to monetize the episode. So, sorry about that. Yeah. You guys have a great week. Thanks again. Thanks for being a part of the Dog Ugly Dudes Talking Dogs family. You're all like extended cousins and people that we just never see. But eventually we'll invite everyone around and it'll be real awkward. You know what I mean?